Information about clickers. So this is my collection of clickers, or some of them. I just want my favorite variety is the box one. So any of them will do. These guys they all have slightly different sounds. You have one that's kind of loud. I'll show you. So that one's quieter. Here's a loud one. So that one's pretty loud. If you have a loud one and you have a dog that's sensitive to the noise, you can soften it by putting either tape or, in this case, it's Band-Aid, so you can soften that sound. So you can listen to, soften the sound by adding either tape to it, masking tape, or I use Band-Aids in this case. Just helps us soften the sound. Also, when you first introduce a clicker to a soft dog, you want to put it either behind your back or just off to the side so that it is not right in their ear. When you're doing clicker training, it's not about the dog seeing the clicker, it's about the dog hearing the clicker. So don't stick it in your dog's face and click it. All right, I'll be right back. All right, so we're going to do, very first thing, we're going to condition the clicker. So this sound does not have an intrinsic value for dogs. We have to pair it with food to make it more meaningful to them. So the very first way that you pair food is you just make the sound and give your dog a cookie. And you do this well over 100 times eventually, but we're going to add in a little behavior to help with it just a little bit. So it's the sound followed by a cookie. So sound followed by a cookie. So right now he's not doing anything for this. He's just hearing the sound and the cookie follows. So that's the pairing of a sound to a reward. So you're conditioning them together. One becomes a predictor of the other. You can also use the word yes to do the same thing. So be yes, cookie, yes, cookie, yes, cookie. So it becomes the same thing. The clicker is just a little bit stronger. So if you're willing to use a clicker, do. If you're not into clicker training, then we're just going to go with yes. So I'm going to show you both ways, and we're going to start out with a hand touch. So the hand touch, you end up using it a lot in other ways that getting them to follow a hand lure. So we're going to start with a hand touch, and all I'm going to ask him to do, or I'm not going to ask him to do anything. I'm going to present him with my hand, and the second that he goes and touches it with his nose, I'm going to click or say the word yes, and then give him a reward. So an empty hand. Now, if he has absolutely no visual concept of going to the hand, then I can make it smell a little bit by rubbing a cookie on it if I want to. But generally speaking, you put your hand out there, dogs are so curious, they will put their nose up to at least try and sniff it. So even just the action of trying to sniff it is clickable, is rewardable. So feel free to grab just that small section of behavior if they won't actually hit your hand. So here we go. I'm just going to put my hand out in his vicinity, somewhere around here, and then I want him to put his nose out and touch it. The second he does, I reward him. Good boy. Good. Oh, I clicked it. Good boy. So I accidentally clicked the paw. If I accidentally click, he gets rewarded. Especially a new dog should get rewarded for any sort of mistake clicks that you make. So now I'm going to go just to a verbal. Yes. 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 So he hit my wrist here. So as a new dog, I'll take that. As a seasoned dog, I'd want to start to pull away and get specific. So I can even go specific to a finger versus my wrist. If you've noticed, he is also offering his paw. That's because we've also done hand targets with a paw. And so he is very paw oriented, and so he will easily transfer to whacking things with his paw versus touching them with his nose. So that is him. I've encouraged it, and we work out which I'm asking for over time. All right, so I'm going to switch hands. Yes. 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 Now, I don't want to go too high to the point where he would have to jump up to touch it until I'm starting to train that behavior. So right now it's somewhere within his space that he just needs to reach and touch it. He doesn't even have to walk to go get it. Eventually we would want him walking to go get it. Yes. Yes. I'm going to switch sides again. Yes. Good boy. Good boy. So this is the very beginning of a hand touch with conditioning either your yes marker or your clicker marker. So those are the two that I would choose, either a clicker or the word yes. Not good boy, good girl, good dog is saved for when we like something that we want to keep going, but it's not marking a behavior. So we're not grabbing an instant shot with good girl, good boy. Whereas with yes and a clicker, we are taking an instant picture. That is what I want, a little Polaroid, that's what I want. Do that specific thing again or approximate up to a more difficult trick. So that's the very beginning of your reward marker or condition and a yes or a click. All right, good job, buddy.